Tea or coffee in the studio?
Well, it's coffee, isn't it?
Oh, we absolutely beast the coffee,
We
man.
do, aye. It's really bad. We've got this big tin and it's like, it was £5 and it must be like a kilo of coffee or something.
I'd say probably like
10 kilos of coffee?
yeah, maybe like 8 months ago. I think we've kind of weaned down the addiction a bit, but we were deep.
Right, well, pop
deep
How long
in
did it
the-
take you to get through that kilo?
I don't think we actually did get through it because I think someone spilt something in it and it all congealed together and it was just like a lump of coffee.
Yeah, we share our studio with a couple of naughty other boys, and I think that they might have accidentally
Spilled some bad stuff.
there's some
in it, I
leakage
don't
in the
know.
coffee, so we didn't actually finish it. But yeah, we are addicts.
We do like the Azaro.
Nescafe Azuro.
Azuro. That stuff's good. The powder stuff. Aye.
Beautiful.
5 a day at least when we're in the studio.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's bad, aye.
The
You leave if you're like vibrating.
The tunes that you're releasing at the moment come from 3 years of writing
Yeah.
and 2 years of kind of working on them in a produced environment.
Mm-hmm.
How has the studio environment that you're working in that time changed?
It's changed a fair bit. We've went through a number of different studios since we started the record. We were working in. Where would you say we actually
Seven
started
West.
it? But was there any album stuff done before Seven West and Post Electric? No.
No.
Nothing carried
No,
over.
that was all
so yeah,
EP.
Seven West, which is now shut. That was also off George Square. We were in there working with Jamie Holmes, and that lasted. That was like the kind of early start of the recordings. That lasted for about a year and a half, maybe.
Yeah, and then by the time it closed over COVID, then we went to Chem 19 for a day. Was it just a day?
I think it might have been 2.
We went to.
In fact, I think it was maybe more than 2. It's been a bit of a blur. It's been so long. It's been spread over so long. But yeah, across a few different studios, and we've now got our own kind of space that we've had since just pre-COVID.
Yeah.
So done a lot of stuff in there as well.
It's great for touching things up and
Yeah.
working on
Yeah,
tedious things like
Yeah.
keyboard sounds and all that you don't really want to waste your time on, I guess, when you're paying.
yeah. So yeah,
Was there a particular song that you wrote that felt like you getting a good grasp upon what the Fauves sound was and what it was going to be?
I think it was probably F was the start where
Yeah.
it was like, this is the sound. And
Yeah.
then everything prior still sounds good, but not as, I guess, cohesive as the new stuff
Aye.
as a whole body of work, do you know what I mean?
yeah. It's just like, I don't know, trying to sound less like a wee floated kind of jazz band and like more kind of, I don't know, sort of more electronic influences and
Combining
just
all the
that-
elements.
Aye, yeah, just all the things we like listening to and actually try to inject them into the songs instead of just kind of sounding like our automatic selves. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That's interesting because to me, you know, when I was thinking about this before I started doing the interview, I was thinking, what is it that makes the Fauves sound the Fauves sound? And you could pick out the guitars, you could pick out the slightly 80s influenced textures. But I think for the most part, it is this idea of like a collective voice. It's cohesive, but it doesn't sound like one person. It sounds like a group of people coming together. At what point in the process do you lose sight of your individual voices in the kind of the soup in the music?
That's a good one.
It's a hard one to answer. I mean, I guess we don't lose sight of.
No.
I don't feel like we do.
It's always kind of, I mean,
Yeah, it's
majority of the time we know what the end goal is.
yeah, and sometimes you realise, oh, halfway through it, you realise it's actually there could be a different goal.
Yeah.
You discuss it, and you're like, all right,
What
what if it changed? What if it changed path here and went and sounded like something else? But if we don't agree on it, then it doesn't happen.
No,
So
just-
there's always ends up where it's meant to end up. Do you know what I mean?
How would that compare for Faded? Was there a particular moment in the process of that where it kind of changed shape and went in a different direction?
Faded was actually, I was on holiday with my girlfriend's family and there was a piano there, a big massive piano, and that's where we started writing that song. So that's the only song that has a fun
A cool story.
in Greece.
Instead of in the house.
Aye, instead of my grand's gaffer. Back in the day. But yeah.
Was that the only song you wrote that week? Or did you write more?
I think it was the only one.
Well, I mean,
I think it was only a verse and a pre-chorus, and then the chorus was really rubbish, and then we changed the chorus.
that song was sitting
It's been soul.
sitting on the shelf for like ages, wasn't it? Before we actually started recording it, and then
It was like the second oldest or something out of the lot.
it was basically like a half, or 2/3 of a song, and then
And then we added middle eights.
yeah, and
Triple
then
middle eights and
yeah,
whatever do you
and
call
then,
that.
yeah, basically I just wrote the second half along with, and then it just sort of merged together into a sort of mutant kind of
Yeah, a hybrid mutant.
yeah.
It's interesting to, talking about influences, because I remember when I was with you last time we did the interview, you were playing Tears for Fears in the studio.
Yeah.
And then Ends With Me comes out,
Yeah.
and you can kind of hear that influence creeping in there.
Defos.
When you're taking influence from something, what does that actually look like for you? What does that mean? Is it a case of trying to replicate a certain texture and kind of combining different ones together? Or how do you actually consciously take influence from something and work it into your own music without feeling derivative?
I think you just know, I don't know, each song is obviously different. Each song has its own kind of wee soul. And sometimes, obviously, we're influenced by loads of things, but you don't necessarily imprint them on every song.
Yeah.
Some songs are just like, this needs to sound this way, and it's just kind of automatic. I don't think it's a conscious, like...
Yeah. I feel there's like very unintentional influences, and then there's very like intentional. It's like we tried to do that.
Yeah, there's a few grips or a few songs that were like,
We need to do this bit.
we should try and sound like this, and then it ends up sounding different anyway, but it's...
Once you put it through that kind of Fauves filter.
Yeah,
that's a good way to put it, man.
the filter.
The filter.
The filter, aye, filtration.
With, although we're saying, the new songs are cohesive, at the same time they're kind of going in different directions sonically. I imagine as a result of that there are probably a lot of ideas that kind of end up as half-finished demos that don't quite make it to the finish line.
Yeah.
What is it that separates an idea that makes it all the way to the end compared to one that just ends up as a half demo on the computer?
There's not too many that are just
we
being discarded.
do try and like finish the... There was one song, Goom Nana it was called. And what was it called? Goom Nana. It had to get... There was meaning behind that, but...
We just couldn't get it to sound normal.
Couldn't get it to sound normal.
It sounded so weird, like, it wasn't good at all.
And we just sacked it.
And that was the only one we've actually spent studio time on and just
Went
and cancelled it.
Yeah, it was just like, fuck this.
It was so cancelled, honestly, like, unforgivable tune.
It's in the,
But
in
most
the bin.
most of them we finish. Aye, most of them we tend to finish.
To some extent, or we at least flesh out the demo and finish it that way, and then...
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of demos there that might never come out, but it's nice to think of them all having a future, otherwise what's the point?
Send them all to college.
Did you learn anything from that song, even though it's been completely discarded now? Was there anything you managed to take from that experience?
Don't waste too much time on it.
Yeah.
Don't waste a lot of time on it.
If it's not working, it's not working.
Just give up.
Yeah, it's just sometimes it's okay to give up.
Yeah, that's the advice.
That was the main.
What's another important lesson you've kind of learned in the last year, working on these songs as they start to come out now?
I don't know.
I mean, it's hard to kind of put into words, I feel like. A lot of the lessons you learn are probably in your muscle memory, and you're just kind of, as you're doing stuff, you're like, you realise, let's not go down this route, or, I don't know.
Yeah.
Becomes a part of your instinct.
Yeah, just
quicker ways of
you just
doing
learn, right, that,
the
let's
process,
wait, let's
whatever.
stop wasting time here, or it's just, I think not wasting time is a big one.
Yeah.
Because if you focus in on what you actually need to do, then yeah, it becomes a lot quicker. So that's probably the main lesson.
And if you can agree that we shouldn't waste time on this as well, it's like, do you think we should waste time? No, we shouldn't waste time. Move on.
We are wasting time, aren't we? Yeah, we are.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys. Cheers.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.